एक नया इतिहास लिखेंगे.
Namaskar. Under the channel Lok Jagar and its series Makers of Modern India, I am going to deliver a lecture today on Saviors of Women, that is Sayajirao Maharaj. As far as history of emancipation and empowerment of women in India is concerned, it is quite dark, especially in medieval period. Jijao Mahasaheb and her son Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj sowed the seeds of respect for women in India. The legacy is further enriched by Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, Maharshi Karve, Mahatma Gandhi, and of course Maharaja Sayajirao Gaikwad of Baroda. The progressive initiative were started from the family of Maharaja himself. His Maharani Chimnabai, who was illiterate at the time of their marriage, was given proper education. She get developed to such an extent that she wrote a book, Position of Women in Indian Life, and further in her life she became the head of All India Women's Body. When the women hardly come out of their homes due to Parda system prevailing in those days, Maharani used to play tennis and other sports including horse riding and hunting of wild animals too. Leave apart for Maharani, Maharaja developed the sports, recreation, library and places of physical exercise for women in Baroda state. It was rarely seen in India in those days. His daughter Princess Indira Raje had a graduation and she was nurtured with thoughts and actions of total freedom. Maharaja allowed her to get married with a groom of her choice at the age of 20 in the days of child marriage prevailing in those days. He was the prince chosen by her was from actually lower caste and he was from Kuch Bihar in Bihar area or Orissa area probably. This marriage of rebellion princess was allowed by breaking an engagement already had with a prince of reputed Gwalior state. Princess thought in those days that the said groom was not progressive enough and not suitable for her. Well-known Maharani Gayatri Devi happens to be the daughter of Indira Raje. Sayajirao established schools for girls and progressively increased the drive and extended it to the villages, remote villages and for backward and tribal population. In respect of education of women, the thoughts of Maharaja were most advanced in the world. Those were much ahead of his times. In a letter to Maharaja Holkar, he expressed utter satisfaction about the education of Maharani Holkar. He wrote, "It pays us to educate our ladies sensibly. Women represent half the population of our country and one cannot really do without education of women." He had expressed such thoughts on number of occasions. He was such a pragmatic and visionary thinker that he linked up the women education with the economics of the nation. He was probably the first person to think so much deeply. With social enlightenment, he passed many rules and laws in his state against the oppression of women in respect of prevention of child mortality or child killing, child marriage, and gave encouragement to remarriage of widows, etc., which were replicated by Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar in Hindu Code Bill. To set an ideal example actually, he arranged the remarriage of a widow Lilabai with Ganesh Bhate, despite lot of opposition from their families. and this marriage was solemnized with the expenses of the state. He personally tried to cajole those families to have their consent for this revolutionary marriage in his state. Maharaja established the facilities of vocational education for women through Chimnabai Udyogalay. The education in nursing, teacher training, midwifery training, etc. was imparted there. It empowered many women, especially from lower strata of the society. Private industrial schools were also established in Baroda state. He even established private industrial training schools also. He even established the facilities of hostel for the girl students from backward classes from villages. Scholarships were awarded to the deserving girl students, especially from the backward communities and from villages. Even adult women were also provided the facilities of education for their empowerment. Further, the cause of education and in general and women empowerment through education in particular, he generously donated to many individuals and institutions in India. These mainly include Banaras Hindu University, Maharshi Karve, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, Rayat Shikshan Sanstha, Deccan Education Society, and many others. For quality education and development of the women, he engaged the experts of the various fields from foreign countries also. To boost up the female education and empowerment, he encouraged the formation of association of women like Patan and Amreli Mahila Mandals. Of course, his better half Maharani Chimnabai played a key role in this. He enacted a law to make the education for children of 7 to 12 years, including girls, mandatory. Of course, it was free. Despite presence of Parda system in those days, he enforced it. For the development of women, he abolished the Parda system by enacting law and making a social awareness. He not only took care of empowerment and enlightenment of the women through education, he ensured that the health of women remains sound. In those days, the health of women was the most neglected aspect of the society. For promoting the health of women of his state, he established many hospitals not only in the cities but in rural parts too. He established a dedicated organization, Maharani Chimnabai Maternity and Child Welfare League. In 1923, it was canvassed from the door to door to register the names of pregnant women for delivery in the hospital. In those days, the delivery was at home with the help of untrained traditional conventional midwives. He thus imparted training to these midwives also and enacted a Dai Act in the state under which it was mandatory for all the Dais carrying out the delivery to have a training. Unless and until they are trained and registered with the state, they cannot do the work of delivery. Milk, clothes, and groceries were provided to the mother and children through this organization. Dr. Faris, Dr. Bana, and Dr. Kamla Menon were the doctors in initial days. The women were educated to take due care of their children. This reduced the children mortality considerably. Further, the gynecologists trained in Cambridge University were appointed in these hospitals. Health education and health inspection of school children was carried out regularly, for which inspection cards were prepared. The health problems of children were reported to the parents, and the state hospitals extended help to treat them. With his thoughts and actions, he brought a paradigm change in the society about outlook towards women. This is against the backdrop of number of politicians involved in the exploitation of women in modern and democratic India. The relentless efforts of Maharaja were conspicuously visible. Miss Hansaben Mehta, an alumni of the Baroda College, became first Lady Vice Chancellor of India as early as 1946. She was also the Vice Chairman of Human Rights Commission of United Nations. In 1950, she forced to change the gender-biased draft of Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The wording, "All men are born free and equal," was changed to "All human beings are born free and equal." She was also a most active member of the Constituent Assembly of India. Thus, for Sayajirao Maharaj, the women were the Ladli Bahin in truest sense, in both letter and spirits, and not for reaping the harvest of votes. We owe a lot to Sayaji Maharaj for the modern India, with all-round progress of women in all fields of life, from the IT sector to the highest position of Prime Minister and President. Thank you.
एक नया इतिहास लिखेंगे।